When we think about driving change or sustaining growth within an organization, we don't think about this as this sort of top-down approach where everyone works in this uniform way. Instead, what we try to understand are the networks, how people connect, collaborate, or communicate in informal and formal ways, helps us understand a more scalable and sustainable way to drive that change. One of the first things you do when any organization tries to understand their networks is you have to understand the people in those networks, as you can see here in these circles. As we think about network influence to those people, those network influencers will play unique roles. There are three main types of network influence that we want to talk about today, though. The first is what we call our central network influencers. As the name implies, as you look at a network, you'll likely see them in the middle of the network, but more than that, they tend to have the most cross-functional and wide-spanning impacts on an organization. For the most part, you can guess that those are some of the senior leadership team or people in critical roles. The next type of influencer is someone we might consider to be what we call a regional hub. Many times within organizations, parts of the network will start to splinter off. That's not always a bad or good thing, but within those splintered off networks, those teams will have their own central influencers. It's really important to understand who those individuals are, though, because when you try to connect those teams or make sure those teams have the right information, you can go directly through your regional hubs to drive, again, more sustainable, scalable change. The final types of individuals are what we would call brokers. So, for example, individuals that would connect otherwise disconnected teams. Many times these can be the most surprising individuals within your network. They don't always end up being the most senior people, and many times can be individuals who either A, were with the organization for a long time, or B, have switched between teams, or C, just have behaviors that drive better collaboration. But these individuals can be the translators between those teams and ultimately help you find a way to create better process between those teams and better understanding as you try to align a larger, more complex organization to common goals. So in general, as you start to understand an organization, one of the first steps is going to be identifying and understanding those network influencers. And from there, you can use that group as a cohort to drive or sustain growth within your organizations over time.